Minister Shri Anderson Rowling, Honorable Minister for Urban Affairs, Information and Technology for Government of Meghalaya, who happens to be the member of the Legislative Assembly representing people of this area, and Mr. Deembandhu Sahu, our director for our very prestigious Institute of Biosources and Sustainable Development for Northeast, all the very senior dignitaries present here from the Government of Meghalaya, from my own Ministry of Environment and Forests, also a lot of senior scientists and entrepreneurs, students, farmers, and people from friends from the media. Well, it's a very, very privileged moment for me, and I feel really blessed. And I think the rain gods are also blessing the event. I have always said on a number of occasions that this will be an immense pleasure whenever we are here in Northeast for some reason or the other. And most of my visits to the northeastern states, now it has been quite a significant number, have been after I took over charge as a cabinet minister in Prime Minister Modi ji's government. We have a strong fascination and passion for Northeast, and our Prime Minister has, I think, the extreme of that. Because right from the day one, we have seen that he has been committed and he has not forgotten his commitment even for a single day. Every cabinet meeting, for some reason or the other, he will bring in Northeast. He will monitor Northeast projects. He has asked all his ministers to be in Northeast quite frequently, not for enjoying the beauty of Northeast, but to plan out projects related to their departments for Northeast and to ensure that Northeast gets the best possible quality of quantitative as well as qualitative, inclusive type of development. And that is the reason why you find that in 4 years since he took over as Prime Minister, we have seen a huge number of projects related to whether it is urban infrastructure, whether it is transport, whether it is roads, whether it is railways, or whether it is civil aviation, whether it is science, whether it is biotechnology, health. I think hundreds of things have come up in the last 4 years. And the greatest proof of the fact that I stated just now is that when we started in 2014, for us having a government of BJP or with BJP as its partner or supported by BJP in the northeastern states has only been a dream for many, many decades. As an active worker of my own party and my own organization, for almost last 5 decades, I think we know that it has always been a very distant dream that we will ever have a even to think of having a government in the Northeast was just not even in the imagination. And now 4 years down the line since Prime Minister Narendra Modi took over, when I talk to you and I've come here for this inauguration of another center here in Meghalaya of the Institute of Bioresources and Sustainable Development. We have, I think, 7 out of 8. These governments with BJP either at the helm of affairs or they are in some form or the other in 7 out of the 8 northeastern states. And we could recently have a government in a state like Tripura also. So that, I think, speaks volumes about the commitment of the party and our Honorable Prime Minister. And I wish to use this occasion to convey his greetings to all of you. And once again reiterate that the present government at the center is strongly committed to ensure that the development is Northeast reaches a level which is at least equivalent to the rest of the country, but I think surpasses it the rest of the country one day. That's the speed and pace and the desire and the intention and the vision with which this present government is working. Dr. Deebandhu Sahu has elaborated in detail about the basics why we had this center here. And he has also fondly remembered one of another great Prime Ministers of India, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who has been and who will always remain very close to our hearts. I distinctly remember that when he used to be the Prime Minister of India, that was the age of information and technology. And he used to very fondly say that about that information and technology, that what information technology is today is India today. And about biotechnology, he used to say that is going to be the Bharat tomorrow. And that's how, with that feeling, he is that great Prime Minister who, for the first time, brought science to the, I would say, center stage of Indian politics with the greatest amount of intensity when he said for the first time that it is not only the Jai Jawan and Jai Kisan, but it is also the Jai Vigyan that we have to be talking about. That was, I think, a turning point in India's history, and we have never looked back from that time. We have been progressing, doing our best in the field of science. Today when I talk to you here, last 4 years itself, I think we have done quite well. It's not that the governments in the past haven't done well, they have also tried their best. But last 4 years we have, in a very, very focused manner, ensured that the fruits of science are number one delivered to the people of India. And we are comparable to the best in the whole world. And you will be happy to know that if I start counting some of the parameters in front of you, where how do we compare ourselves, our status and position with the rest of the world now in science, you will feel so happy that we are almost amongst the first 10 nations in the whole world right now. We have our most prestigious organization is CSIR. It is a 75-year-old organization with over 38 labs in the country, developing through research new technologies which are delivered to the people of India to solve their unresolved issues, and there are over 1,200 organizations like CSIR which are funded by government all over the world. Can you believe it that in the last 4 years, as per the latest international Chicago ranking, our CSIR, in terms of its ability and potential and what it has been able to do for the world, it ranks at 9th position in a list of 1200 all over the world. That is the level at which science is progressing. We are 6th in terms of science publications. Our growth rate for science publications is almost 14% as compared to 4%, which is the international average. We are 3rd best in nanotechnology, which is some sort of a recent development in science. We are 4th best in weather forecasting and ocean forecasting and cyclone forecastings. We have now a high performance computing facility of 10 petaflops. And there are only 3 countries in the whole world whom we can say that they are a bit ahead of us. That's America, England and Japan. We are 4th in the whole world. And the same country which was caught unaware in 2004, when we had a devastating tsunami. Today we are probably the number 1 country in the whole world where we give early warnings for a tsunami, not only to Indians, but to many countries across the rim of the ocean. This is about some of these parameters, and it's whether it is fundamental science working at genome level for human genome sequencing, or atoms or molecules, or DNAs or plant or animal genomics, or whether it is the highest level of science of gravitational waves and artificial intelligence and robotics and cyber physical systems. We are making the biggest telescope of the whole world. That's a 30-meter telescope in collaboration with 3 other countries. And there are many other, the great things, big things. So whether it is fundamental science, whether it is application or solution science, whether it is translational science, or whether it is the high-profile science, we are comparable to the best in the whole world. We have collaborations of very advanced nature with almost 44 developed countries of the whole world, developed in countries like US, Canada, Japan, Israel, South Korea, Australia, any big country that you can imagine about. And when I sit across the table with the delegations of these countries, whether we sit in White House or whether we sit in South Korea, whether we sit in a university in Japan, and only 2 days back we were together with the UK Minister for Science. We never feel that, we never have this feeling that we are probably inferior to anybody else. If they have one thing to tell us or teach us, we have at least 5 things to tell us and tell them and teach them, and to share our experience with them. So that's the level of science, and I think it's all because of the great effort and the great passion and the great hard work which has been put by our scientists, and more particularly we have a huge number of young budding scientists in our laboratories who are thoroughly committed. Today when I have come to this place, I remember that when I took over as Science and Technology Minister, as Mr. Sahu was telling, this presentation for having a concept for a Institute of Bioresources, because we know that this whole of Northeast is a great, I think, genetic treasure house for plants and animals and biodiversity. And that is the meeting in India International Center, where we thought that this activity, which was started in Manipur long back at the time of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, it should be expanded to each and every state of. I had posed this question before them, that why do you have this when the whole Northeast is a genetic treasure house of biodiversity? What are you going to do with this one center at one place? And that's the thought from where we started, and I'm so happy that today I am in fact part of an inauguration of the center being created in the 4th northeastern state. We have not only the intention but also the planning and the whole vision to ensure that this process of having similar centers is in all the northeastern states is completed in the next 1 to 2 years. That's already in the you can say pipeline. And as far as our Manipur center is concerned, in Imphal I had the privilege to visit that center at least 2-3 times, and I was very impressed that there are a lot of things that they are doing. It's not only the this cherry blossom festival, because that gets that popular, you can say, feel all over that it's a successful activity, but for the preservation of those species, I remember they are doing a lot for the state animal sangai, and also for the state flower of Manipur, that's Siroi lily, for black rice, locally called chakao. And especially I was very impressed during my first visit when I saw that for the bamboo entrepreneurship, they have done a huge amount of work. Not only supporting, not only showcasing, but also training the young people, the unemployed people, training the farmers, and in a big way. Then for the organic farming, for these bamboo shoot products, it's called locally soyboom. I had the privilege to enjoy all that. They have fermented soya beans, and then helping fish farmers in fish hatchery and seed production technologies. Then this cherry blossom thing has become so popular. I had the privilege to do some small activity in Sikkim, but unfortunately I have not been able to participate in any of these cherry blossom festivals where I have seen. They have told me that there is a participation of lakhs of people, 20,000 people, 50,000 people. So maybe when you celebrate the next big festival, I don't know, in the next 6 months I can really afford to come, but I will certainly try to be part of that big festival, which is so popular in Japan, US, it's called Sakura Festival there in Japan. So, and then the first visit to Manipur, this center, then that this orchid thing, and I am very happy that the director is talking about establishing an orchidarium here to promote the orchid-based entrepreneurship. He said 6 months, but if the minister promises me the local support, I will in this meeting instruct him to finish it in 4 months and call me for the inauguration along with him. Because I am very, because I think I had the privilege to visit some of these orchidariums or whatever you call them in Manipur. I think is a fantastic idea, and it's really so charming, so enticing, so attractive, and of course it helps the cause of people, helps them to strengthen their economy, helps the economy of the state, helps the economy of the country. I think so. This is something for at least the bioeconomy and the this employment. We have to certainly do that. Last time, in fact, I went to the center in Manipur. We had started this technology and skill development center also there. And I remember that I had the privilege to enjoy a bite on a bamboo cycle. This was the first time I heard about a bamboo cycle. I saw a bamboo cycle and I actually rode on the bamboo cycle. So, and after that, after knowing all this, in fact, as a Environment Minister, we made the very specific amendment in the Indian Forest Act and taking it out of that difficult definition for bamboo, so that people all over the country, and more particularly in the northeastern states, they are, you can say, encouraged to take up bamboo farming and ensure that movement of bamboo all across the country for various purposes. There is hardly any hindrance for that, and it is certainly helping us in a big way. Basically, I was told that there are 500 varieties of orchids in Manipur, and there is a very powerful public-private partnership also that we saw. And I think your goal should be to ensure that wherever we develop similar activities now, the new activities, they should be in all parameters. They should be better than the parameters that we have been able to achieve in Manipur. That should be the goal that you should set for yourself. It should not be that we have created a good activity in Manipur and we create some centers everywhere, but every center that we create, it should surpass in terms of its ability, potential and everything the previous one. And wherever you find that there is a need for a stronger support from the state government, I'm sure there may not be any government in the Northeast which will not be supportive. We have the presence of the minister here. Their chief minister is also a very young, dynamic person. He has been a fellow parliamentarian with me. His father has been a very able parliamentarian, a very lovable person. He used to have a lot of attachment and respect for him. And I'm sure that anything you ask for, because if all this area can ultimately be developed as one of the best institutions for bioresources and sustainable development for the Northeast, not only for this Meghalaya, but this area, the ambience of this area, because I have seen the other places also, it is certainly better than the other places. I went to Sikkim last year on 31st of December, and that was the day I inaugurated that. So I think this area has a huge potential for basically. Then we have these technology business incubator centers also, which we are in the process of developing for life sciences based entrepreneurship. So friends, in fact, there is a lot that he has already said, and that there is a lot that I have also seen, and there is a lot that I imagine as vast potential. Last year I remember I came, I think this was probably this area or it was some hillside. Nearby. Then we created as one of the best centers here, because you see, as I mentioned to you that in science we are like for earthquakes, prediction of earthquakes and for earthquake observations. What we try to create here and what we have created in Maharashtra at one place is something which is not done anywhere. We created a center here in this hill area, I don't remember the name of that area, which is a part of the Institute of Geomagnetism. And there we are in fact making observations about these earthquakes by measuring the change in pressure, temperature and density, not only in the atmosphere but also in the magnetosphere and the ionosphere. And because this northeast is more prone to earthquakes, so we develop a system by those observations that at least we can inform well in advance, shut down the main services. And similarly in Koina in Maharashtra, we are doing another type of research where we have gone 4, 5 kilometers, 7 kilometers deep into the Rocky Mountains, and we have put up sensors at every few hundred meters. And those sensors are recording because Koina is a place which has been having earthquakes for the last 50 years or so. So we want to know the reasons for that and then also to interpret those observations into something through which we can maybe have some sort of a semblance of a prediction for an earthquake or an early warning or whatever you can say. Right now we don't have a mechanism to really predict an earthquake, but at least some timely message we can give to the services to shut down. So there we are using those sensors. So that's the type of research. So I remember that I had come to Shillong to create that center. So there is a huge potential here, and especially for the biodiversity. And I am very happy that our environment people are also here. In environment, the country has, I think, achieved a significant amount of international reputation especially after the Paris meeting, where the Prime Minister led from the front. Our goals for reducing the emissions, for handling climate change and climate change and global warming issues is like the whole world now acknowledges. We gave the mission innovation movement, and we have a very ambitious target of 175 gigawatts by 2022, all electric vehicles by 2030, and to have 40% of our energy through clean energy sources by 2030. And in almost all the we have we are shifting to BS6 vehicles by 2020. These are the parameters in which as compared to the rest of the world, the whole world is acknowledging that India is moving very fast. We gave a 175 gigawatts target by 2022. I was with the power minister in one function recently. He said, though that we will achieve much before, we may surpass the 200 gigawatts like that. He made a reference to that. So we are doing a lot, and so I would particularly appeal to our environment people also, because environment issues and biodiversity issues, and this we have to protect this biodiversity, because this is one of the 10 mega hotspots for us, not only for India but for the whole world. This Northeast is like that. So finally, I would like to make a small appeal to all of you. You see, this year we were host for the World Environment Day, and India hosted the World Environment Day for the whole world. And fortunately, we had a series of programs all over the country. The United Nations Environment Program Chief, Mr. Eric Solon, was in India for almost 10 days attending various programs. And at the end of those 10 programs, on 5th of June, he commented officially that since the time 1974, the World Environment Day was conceived, and it has been hosted by different countries. what we did, what India did this year was far, far ahead of any other celebration across any country in the world. And as you know, this year the theme for the World Environment Day was to stop using single-use plastic. I don't know whether the theme, we have written to all the chief ministers, and the United Nations is also pursuing, the social media is pursuing, the environmentalists are pursuing, the young people are pursuing, and I think we have a good gathering of young people also. So I appeal to you to ensure that as soon as possible we should get rid of single-use plastic in our day-to-day life, and to ensure that we make environment protection and environment conservation a big movement. After having become the Environment Minister of India, along with the Science and Technology Ministry, I brainstormed with my own colleagues and said that it's not only through policies and big things that we'll be able to achieve our environmental goals. Unless we have the people involved in this, and if we have the people involved, we have to tell the people what do we expect from them, what is that the people can do in their own personal lives, which is going to help the cause of environment. Because for us, working for the environment is not a technical duty. Climate change, global warming is not a technical issue. They are all moral issues, and they are issues related to value systems, and they are the issues which is our responsibility for these young children, or for those children who are not yet born in this world, because we need to give them back the environment that we inherited from our ancestors. We all know we inherited clean rivers, we inherited clean air, we inherited dense forests, we inherited rich fertile land, we inherited a good quality of harmony with nature that was a part of our value systems, and also a good quality of relationship with the wildlife. But I think over the years we have probably either not been able to remember the ethics of all these things which have been given to us by our ancestors, or may have forgotten them, or maybe some vested interests have creeped into the whole system, which is not helping the cause of environment. So there is a need for a huge movement. So we, after having brainstormed, put down on paper a list of small positive good actions that any person can do in his own life. And these are the actions for which they don't cost you any money, they don't cost you any labor, and rather they will curtail your, you can say, spending of money, and they will give you a better environment. And we call them green good deeds. Green good deeds are deeds which are small positive actions which help save the cause of environment, and we are appealing to everyone in the country to change their behavior to green good behavior. Perform a green good deed every day. Change your behavior to a green good behavior. If you are an institution or a ministry or a office or whatever, adopt green good practices in your institution. And we are reminding everybody that this is your green social responsibility. It is some sort of a national responsibility, it is some sort of a responsibility for our future generation of children. So green good deeds, green good behavior, green good practices, and the green social responsibilities. Now about these 700 odd green good deeds, since it is the age of digitalization, our Prime Minister wants that every facility, every information, every knowledge, it should be available in this telephone for everyone. And that is why in a country which had only put up 356 kilometers of optical fiber on 14th or in 2014 when we took over took the charge of Union Minister. Now after 4 years, almost over 250,000 kilometers of optical fiber has been laid down. And this time when the Prime Minister comes and addresses us next week, next month, maybe he's going to tell us that he has sent the optical fiber to almost every panchayat in this country. So, because he wants that the optical fiber and the internet facility, it should be available to everyone in this country, in this telephone, every educational facility. So we have put an app called the Dr. Harsh Vardhan app, because Dr. Harsh Vardhan happens to be the Environment Minister now. So if you go to your Apple Store or the Google Play Store and you just type my name there, Dr. Harsh Vardhan. So I can promise that within less than, I don't know whether we have the facility here, you will get the internet here or not, but wherever you have a good quality internet, within less than half a minute you will be able to have the app downloaded. There are a number of things in the app, but on top of the app is the Green Good Deeds. And if you click on the Green Good Deeds, you get a huge amount of information with the list of 700 Green Good Deeds. They pertain to your daily life, they pertain to the water, they pertain to rivers, they pertain to energy, they pertain to your household activities, they pertain to your the transport system that you adopt, and they pertain to virtually everything, whether it's wildlife or whatever you can think of which is relevant for the environment. So I would like you to please help us in developing this movement. You can imagine that if one person performs one small green good deed a day, it means 1.32 green good deeds in this country every day. We will not require to have these big, huge things. Our people will be able to solve the problems of environment of this country. And that is the people's movement that we are trying to create of green good deeds. And I would particularly appeal to all of you to please ensure that we fulfill our responsibility for the environment also. I wish all of you good luck, great success, and I am sure that we'll have all the support of the state government. Whatever is possible from our side, we are there to support wholeheartedly the whole project. But of course, the land is not our domain. So if we get some land, or if we get all this defunct structure and all, where we can further expand this facility, I want to make it the best, better than the Manipur one. That's my target. So, and that is the target which has been set for them. The next one, wherever they create, they have to make it better than this after they have made this. So, thanks everybody, and particularly I would like to thank the Minister for having graced us.